I've got the 2020 Hobie Outback. It's a great kayak. Uh, got no complaints for it, but I've noticed that every time I've been out on days, water's kind of choppy. Um, I end up getting quite a bit of water inside the hull from the back somewhere. So, come to find out that the problem is from the let me see, from this wheel where the rudder turns back and forth from the controllers up there. And the problem is for all those lines that coming up here to hook up here and get it to turn back and forth, there are four lines coming from up front. Come in through here, so that means there's four holes that come out from the kayak in order to tie onto the rudder controller here. And then there's another line, the one that you use for the cable to lift up your rudder or drop your rudder. So that's five holes. And I took it apart before going on this last fishing trip. And I noticed that the holes coming for the four lines, small lines, they're about a 16th of an inch thick diameter on those lines. They're coming from up there through here through four holes, and the holes appear to be like a maybe 3/16 of an inch diameter on them, and the lines come through there. So there's a pretty good sized gap in each one of those holes that allows when I anchor from the back, um, and it happens to be a little bit choppy. The waters are just crashing in here and spraying water up on top, and they drain out through the drain holes up there, the scuffer holes. And but the problem is when the water comes over it, it goes in here around here, and it's been going in through those little holes, five holes that are around 3/16 of an inch diameter. So after a couple hours, you end up getting quite a bit of water inside the hull. I've had mine a couple times. I've had it to where I get back to shore, and I end up finding maybe this last time I did that, it had maybe about three 3 gallons of water inside the hull there. So that's quite a bit of weight, 3 to 4 gallons. Before going out this last time, I tried. I didn't have a marine silicone at the time, so I just used some regular silicone for window sealing and stuff. But I didn't think it was going to last too long or something. But it would give me an idea whether the that was a problem. So I went out this last time a couple days ago, and it was a little choppy, enough to be spraying water over the top. And I was out there about 4 or 5 hours. So uh, while I was out there on the water, I took out that this compartment here in order to check and see if there was any water under the hole. If you take out this tray, it'll go right into the hull. So when I was out there, I took it off about halfway through the day, and I was surprised. It was nice and dry in there. So that silicone I put on temporarily apparently did the job, and it did quit leaking from there. So I went ahead and ordered some of this stuff. Adhesive sealant, marine adhesive sealant, fast cure. So I'm going to be cleaning up those holes a bit and scuff them up a little bit, help with the attaching and sticking to that surface in there, and see if it'll stay on there. But at least I know that's where the problem is. That if you're getting water coming in from the back, if you have a habit of anchoring and from behind out here, then that more than likely the choppy waves will be splashing up and going over the top there, and you'll probably get you can get in water too. So at least I found out with that other temporary silicone that it did stop it. So I'm going to do that now, and you can follow along if you got the time, if you're interested. And okay, I'm going to get started here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, first I'm going to end up going up there and lowering the rudder so that cord that's attached to it is not under tension, and it'll be loose in there when you open this up. You won't have any problems pulling this cap off. So let me go ahead and do that. Look out, Nico. All right, so there goes your rudder. Went back down. So now there's not too much tension on the cord, paracord. So now we can get to work on just loosening up this center piece here, this center screw, and that attaches to your rudder down here. It's got a long section on the rudder, on the top of the rudder, that goes in from the bottom and comes all the way to the top, and then just screws on with this one little screw here. Just take that off. Just careful that your whole rudder doesn't drop down. Shouldn't, because of that string, but you never know. You don't want to get anything loose that's going to cause you problems to put it back together again, because there's a bunch of strings in here controlling the levers up there for steering. And here we go. All right, let's see if we can get you close enough to see those holes there. See, there's one of them there. Let me get this camera off this tripod. I can show you better here. Okay. There's one there. You can see the big old hole there. All that silicone I put on there is pretty much gone. So I'm hoping this one's going to do better. There's another one right here. Same size hole right there. And there's two of them right here. And the same size holes. Plenty of gap for water to go in. And there's the one for the rudder right down there too. You can see it with my finger there. Maybe with this thing a little better. Right here is where another hole is. As you can see, it's about 3/16 of an inch in diameter, and man, that's a lot of room for water to go in. So combine all 5 holes, boy, you can get quite a bit of water in there. So I'm going to try this marine silicone and see if that stuff will stay. And if it does, then problem solved. So let me go ahead and just don't have too much room, because I don't want to take loose all these lines, because these lines are the ones that adjust your handles up there. And try to put them all back together again. And they wrap around this top here. So you got to get them just right. I don't want to take a risk at not getting them right. So I'm going to try to work where I'm at. All right. Let me go ahead and see if I can clean those up a little bit. Scuff them up a little bit with sandpaper. And hopefully that'll help the marine silicone stick and hold on a little better. And if it does, boy, then that should be the end of it. But we'll never know until we try. All right, back in a bit. Okay, I'm going to try to show you how I'm going to do it here on this first one. Let's see, I'm just going to take a little bit of sandpaper. I think it's a 220. And then just try to sand as best as I can around there, around that little O-ring, plastic O-ring, and get it scuffed up. Some silicone from the one I just put on there. Just scuff it up a little bit. Help that marine grease hold on. And I'll be doing the same to the others. All right, everybody. I've gone ahead and scuffed them up as much as I can. It's kind of hard to get in there trying to do it with the lines on. If you can take the lines off and get a better access to it, it would be better if you can remember how those lines go back on there. There's two lines coming from this controller up there, rudder controller, and two lines coming from that rudder controller, and they kind of connect to these four bolts here. And a little tricky. They got to go around this thing one way and the other way, and well, I don't want to mess with them. Hopefully you can see that one right here. I'm going to do that one first. Just take a little bit on the fingertip so I can just get in there. Just about that much, and just put it all around it and into it. I know that line will, I'm going to try to move it back and forth before it completely dries. Make sure that that it doesn't stick to the silicone. And I'll do this other side. Still a little bit of silicone inside the hole from that household one. This stuff feels real good. Feels like it's sticking on there real good. So maybe it will. Now I'm gonna go up to the front one. Hopefully you can see that one. It's a little tricky. Well, we can do it. We can do it. There we go. Just fill it up, man. Fill up that hole, and maybe it'll solve the problem permanent. Another bit for the other side. Yeah, those holes, that string, as you can see, there's about a 1/16 of an inch thick diameter, and the holes are about 3/16 inch, so that's quite a bit of a gap on there. And this stuff is supposed to be flexible, so hopefully it will hold and it won't come off with the strings going back and forth once it dries. But like I said, I'm going to try to move the strings before move the controllers up there so the strings can go in and out and not get stuck to the silicone. Just need that one at the bottom. That's a little bit harder to get to, but we can do it. And I don't know if you can, let's see if I can get this off, or you can see that other one down there. There it is, way down there. So I'm just going to fill it up from the top. Looks like the string is against the bottom edge of it, so that might do it. All right, that's all of them. Their holes are covered up. And I'll give it a few minutes to dry a little bit, and then I will work the rudder controllers, get the strings to move in there before it gets too hard. All right, I'm just going to push up on the rudder here. It's come down a little ways. See, it goes up till it hits the top up here. Line it up, and just tighten this screw, and it'll hold that rudder up there. That's all it's got holding this thing up there. So, but it's working. Don't over tighten it. Right there. Got some play on it that's supposed to have that. So we'll just let it dry now for a little bit, and then I'll start turning the rudder controls up there. I'll bring you back. That's been a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and work the rudder controls up there just to keep those lines moving and not sticking to the silicone. The rudder is down, so I'll just turn it slowly one way and the other way, and do it a few times there so it'll. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave it turned completely to one side. That way the string that was right on the silicone won't be together and have more chance to get stuck. So I'll go ahead and come back after a while and do it again just while that silicone is curing. It takes supposed to be completely cure in 24 hours. So I'll come back and move those rudder lines again and just to make sure it doesn't stick to it. And hopefully that'll work and take care of the problem. I know the problem is those holes, and because I've already checked it, like I said, with that only silicone I had, and it didn't let any water go in there at all, man. So I know that's what's causing it. And if this stuff stays, then it should be good. So anyway, hope you all like, hope it'll help somebody. And that's just my way of fixing it. So it's trial and error, see if it works. So hope you like it and subscribe and hit that bell. So y'all have a good day then.